So I'm Chris, I'm one of the infrastructure consultants here at Pentest People, and I mostly deal with firewalls. A firewall itself, it generally ends up being not the be-all end-all when it comes to infrastructure security. There are other control methods that go into place, but it does act as the main key to any perimeter defense system. Essentially, the firewall will block any traffic that comes in from undesirable sources, depending on the configuration, but it also allows departments to access different sources around your own infrastructure as well. Things such as access control, user identity management, and other security policies are usually in place. Whilst not all firewalls are perfect, there are other systems that go into place with them, such as intrusion prevention and detection systems. In regards to that though, the firewall itself, especially next-gen firewalls, tend to include a lot of those countermeasures themselves, where any undesirable users and stuff who will come into, or at least to try and attempt to gain access to the internal network will then be kind of scanned against who should and shouldn't be gaining access. Usually a well-configured firewall is going to do things such as make sure groupings are correct, access controls handled in a relatively structured manner, and also they're going to provide logging of who's actually been accessing your system and just other things such as errors and other potential problems that you might see. When it comes to firewalls, with them being generally seen as a first line of defense, one of the best things we can do is always make sure things such as default configurations have been disabled, any form of encryption methods being used are the strongest that are available. Stuff such as your transport layer security or looking after VPNs, you need to make sure they are using strong encryption ciphers. When it comes into the actual access control sections of it, they do need to be tightly monitored and looked after. You need to keep change logs of such things, and also generally, the more you keep on top of a firewall, keeping good patch management in place, keeping up to date with any common CVEs that are out there, and then also updating any rule sets to make sure any troublesome IPs from such CVEs are being flagged as potentially dangerous for your own network. All in all, firewalls are a great thing to kind of learn how to utilize correctly. They're really challenging to actually get into a good state of where you believe you might be as secure as possible, but at the end of the day, it's your first line of defense when it comes to protecting against attackers, and anything beyond that, it's up to good access control and policy management.